Hello, folks. I'm James Hill. We are joined by a special guest. He is Coach Willie Simmons from the highest of Seven Hills. I'm talking Rattlers football. First and foremost, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Tallahassee are well. How are you doing tonight, sir?
We're doing well. We're actually down in Miami. We got here today, and the team's excited to be down in South Florida as we continue our preparation for the Orange Blossom Classic against Jackson State. So already checked into the hotel and settled in, and looking forward to a great week.
Coach, take us back to late last week and give us, an assessment and an update of everything that happened. We understand it was 26 players, student athletes. Just give us the latest on everything that transpired.
Well, obviously, last Thursday night we ran our certification report, and saw that we had 26 guys that were supposed to travel and make the trip to Chapel Hill that weren't certified. So we, tried to figure out what the problem was, and we had already submitted a few waivers on a couple of guys that we knew would need them. And so by the time we got to Friday morning when we were scheduled to leave, that list had not dwindled down. And so, we met with the seniors, told them what the status was. We had 4 wide receivers who were cleared. We had 6 offensive linemen that were cleared. And so from a health and safety perspective, the guys didn't feel comfortable going into a game against a bigger, faster, stronger football team, knowing that we have, a game the following week that really determines our long-term success. And so as those numbers started to dwindle down and more guys got cleared, after numerous discussions amongst the senior leadership group, talks with the athletic director, and ultimately the president of the university, the seniors switched course and decided that it would be in our best interest to go ahead and play the game. And we did that, and I thought the guys performed exceptionally well. We didn't win the game, obviously, but I'm still proud of how they competed, how they fought for 4 quarters amidst all types of adversity, short staff, short at a lot of positions, and even after losing 2 guys in that game on the offensive line. But I thought the guys played their hearts out, and they really, really represented everything we stand for here. And I think that game really strengthened us and our character, and hopefully it'll the momentum we can carry of how we played into this week. Obviously, there were some things that we needed to clean up, and we worked hard at those things. But if we take the same passion and drive and enthusiasm and execution here to Miami Gardens on Sunday, I think we'll find ourselves on the other side of the W column.
Coach, obviously, you focus on football and coaching young gentlemen and getting them ready to play, and they're there to get an education. But can you just take us into the certification and how that process works and what that looks like and how challenging that was or is or can be?
Well, there are a lot of things that go into the certification process of student athletes. You're looking at matriculation, progress towards degree. There are transfer students, who come into our programs, who need all of their documentation uploaded into the system so that it can be reviewed. We have gentlemen who throughout, and young ladies, because it's not just a football issue. Every student athlete has to be certified. So you have student athletes who do things such as change their majors, in between terms. You have students who have I grades or grade changes that need to occur. And so all of those things go into the certification process, and with high school kids, initial eligibility. So we had a few guys who had some high school initial eligibility concerns. They ultimately got cleared up. But, we ran up the full report. We did have a large number of young men who weren't able to be certified. And we're working extremely hard this week to try to get that number down. We're down to 17 now as of today. And hopefully by the time we get to game day, that number will have dwindled down more. And we can have more of our brothers join us down here in South Florida to go in with as many guys as we can against Jackson State.
Coach, Orange Blossom Classic, big time game, Hard Rock Stadium, 2 of the greatest brands in the HBCU world, if you will, when you look at Famu and Jackson State, and 2 of the greatest coaches currently in the game. Talk about this weekend, and I know you're just getting into Miami Gardens, Miami, South Florida, what that can look like. And fans are clamoring, and they've waited all year just to get to this weekend, and it's finally coming to fruition. But take us into this highly anticipated event.
Well, I have, obviously, the renewal of the Orange Blossom Classic was something that we were very excited about, and this was supposed to be year 3, but obviously due to COVID-19, we didn't get to play in the first year in 2020. So last year was the first year of the game. It was a hard-fought game between us and Jackson State. It came down to 1 point. We were on the other side of the column on that one, but it's given us a lot of motivation this year to come back and remember that throughout off-season conditioning, all throughout our summer training and our training camp this year to find that 1 point, wherever it comes from, and the attention to detail, the commitment to excellence and everything that we do. We feel like if we do that collectively, that we'll be able to find that point to come out victorious. Because just like last year, we were picked first and second in the preseason polls, and I think the winner of this game will have a huge leg up and represent the East Division in the Swac championship game, and the loser will be on the outside looking in, unless the other team loses twice in conference play. And so the stakes are at an all-time high, and again, 2 really good programs, 2 really good coaching staffs, 2 great fan bases, 2 really good marching bands. And so it's a game that everyone has circled on their calendar has had circled on the calendar for a long time, and it is finally here.
Coach, now I know it's been a long week, if you will, with all the goings on out of Tallahassee. And when we look over to Jackson, Mississippi, we see stormy weather, if you will, and there's some challenges there. But and I know that's another school and university, but can you talk a little bit about, just 2 different teams, 2 major brands, and again, when they kick the football off, you can just focus on football.
Well, obviously, our heart goes out to the entire Jackson community. They've been affected by a terrible storm the last couple of weeks, and now they're having some water pressure issues there, in the city. And so I spoke with Ashley Robinson, the athletic director, earlier today. Obviously, Ashley and I are great friends. Gave him my first job as a head coach, and Coach Prime and I've, spoken through text. And again, our prayers are with them, and we know that times like this is when we all come together as HBCUs and support and pull for one another. And there'll be a game on Sunday that everyone will be talking about and everyone's excited to see, but for 364 days, we're brother and sister schools, and we support one another. We look out for one another. And so again, our thoughts definitely go out to everyone in Jackson affected by what's been going on there the last couple of weeks.
Coach, this will be a special weekend, and there's a fork in the road, if you will. One team is destined to head towards the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. The other team is destined to head towards the playoffs. Can you talk about 2 great opportunities and what that can look like? And again, it should be a beautiful thing.
Well, last year that was just, the scenario. Jackson won the game. They went undefeated in conference play, and they went on to win the Swac East, win the Swac championship, and ultimately play in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Because we took care of business the rest of the regular season, we were in that large bid for the FCS playoffs, and so both teams are in a position where that can be a reality. Our last regular season games both are the week before Selection Sunday, or the day before Selection Sunday, and so that possibility is there. But both teams, I'm pretty sure our ultimate goal is to win the SWAC and play in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And so that's what our focus is. I'm sure that's what their focus is. And whoever wins the game still has the best shot at doing that. And whoever drops the game obviously will have to hope that the other team loses twice, and that they continue to play well throughout the rest of the season to A, position themselves to be SWAC champs if something else happens. And then B, getting that large bid to the FCS playoffs, because obviously, as we all know, the SWAC doesn't get an automatic qualifying bid to the playoffs. But it's a great opportunity for any program who has a chance to go out and play in the playoffs. And it's definitely something that our kids remember from last season.
Coach, this weekend, and you know about quarterback play because you've been there, done that. This weekend, fans get an opportunity to watch some great quarterbacks. Talk a little bit about your quarterback room, and then when you look over at Jackson, Shador's in the house and he's doing his thing.
Well, yeah, obviously, Shador was the Jerry Rice Award winner last season as the FCS Freshman of the Year. He had a phenomenal season, second team All Swac quarterback behind a Quill Glass. So obviously, he has some tremendous weapons on the offensive side of the ball, some great receivers that returned from last season, as well as a highly talented receiving class that he signed. Kevin Coleman was a four-star recruit coming out of St. Louis. Travis Hunter obviously was the #1 overall player in the country, and he's playing both sides of the ball. We anticipate, and so again, we definitely have to make sure that we try to affect them as much as we can in the passing game. So he's going to be a guy that has a big year again. We anticipate, and then our two guys, Rashawn McKay and Jeremy Musa, guys we have a lot of confidence in. Obviously, Rashawn McKay led us to 9 wins last season, played extremely well down the stretch, and then Jeremy Musa, came in last week against North Carolina as a starter and completed over 70% of his passes, for almost 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. And so very excited about what he brings to the table. Obviously, we hope he's not a one-trick pony and that he can have another stellar game, distribute the ball evenly. We had 10 receivers last week catch passes, obviously led by Xavier Smith with 10 himself. But everybody got involved, and I think that's when you're playing great football. Obviously, we need to help them out by running the ball a little bit better than we did last week and protect the football. But again, if we can do that and continue to get first downs, I think we can, keep our defense off the field where they're not playing as many snaps, as they did last weekend, and we can limit the amount of opportunities Shador has to throw to those talented wide receivers they have.
Coach, how special is it to be able to share HBCU football with fans all across the land? People have been clamoring and really looking forward to this particular game. It's almost like a championship game in itself. And obviously, this used to be the national championship in terms of HBCU. But how special is it to be able to bless the fans, if you will, with this great game coming up this weekend?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's a great opportunity for our great fans on both sides, the Rattler Nation, all of Jackson State fans, to witness two, great programs. Again, two phenomenal institutions. Like I said earlier, 2 great marching bands. And so for everything that this game means, to be able to bring the game to South Florida, the hotbed of high school football here in this country, all of the recruiting fairs that will take place this week between FAMU, Jackson State, the other school up the road will be here as well, playing the University of Miami. So they'll have a chance to recruit some students from South Florida. You have Florida Memorial here, right here in Miami. So just a great opportunity to go out and increase our brand awareness here in this part of the state. And we're excited to be a part of it. Like you said, it used to be the Black College National Championship. And, it could arguably be dubbed that over the last 2 years with the way Jackson State and FAMU played, and with the all of the preseason rankings that show us as, 2 of the top 3 programs in HBCU football this year.
Coach, Mr. Isaiah Land, is there an update on that gentleman? He's one of the best in the country, arguably the best in the country. Is there an update that we could share with fans?
Well, we're still working through the process. We're cautiously optimistic that we'll have a decision before kickoff, and we're just hoping that the NCAA, really reviews the entirety of his case, and we feel like he has a pretty compelling case. I just, for me, it's hard to understand how a guy who, it's chronicled that he was, misadvised, and he did everything he was asked to do, and while he's being denied the opportunity to play this game along with Cameron Colvin, is something that we really hope the NCAA takes a second look at. And so we're working at it. It's Wednesday, so we have a few days before we have to strap it on, obviously, so it gives them a little bit of time to work the process. But again, we're really hoping that this young man gets a chance to play this game, not just because it significantly increases our chances of being successful, but it goes a long way in establishing him as viable NFL prospect. Obviously Marquis Bell just made the 53-man roster with the Dallas Cowboys, but Isaiah Land has a chance to even exceed Marquise's success as a draftable guy, as a guy to go to the Senior Bowl this year. He's on all the watch lists, and I know the NFL scouts are clamoring over seeing him on the field and being able to get him evaluated. So we definitely want to have a chance for him to do that, and we don't feel that he should be punished for being for doing what he was asked to do, right? And it wasn't malicious. No one did it maliciously, but things happen. But in life, we have to understand that things happen, and we have to react accordingly. And I just feel the NCAA is being maybe a little harsh on this one because, again, he didn't fail any classes that he was taking. This summer he did everything he was asked to do.
Coach, when you see a gentleman in Dallas with a star on his helmet, how special is that? And what does that say about your program? I mean, this guy can play, and he's really went out there and worked his tail off, so to speak.
We're all so very excited, for Marquis Bell and for what he's meant to this program. The years that he was here, just his leadership, his approach to the game, his love for his brothers, and his love for his family. We know that he really wanted to do this for his grandmother, and he's seeing his dreams play out on the big stage. And so for him to have the preseason camp that he's had, there hadn't been a day that went by that somebody wasn't talking about Marquis Bell, over in the Dallas area. And so it's not a shock to us that he made the 53-man roster. The things that he's doing now, we've been seeing it every day. It's a lot easier to call a play against the defense now when you don't have to go against Marquis Bell and Isaiah Land every day. And but we're just extremely happy for him and just wish him all the best. The Dallas Cowboys, they have a star on the helmet, but they got them a star in Marquis Bell.
Coach, this program that you continue to be a leader of men for, when we look back at Jake Gaither and we look at Billy Joe and Coach Rudy Hubbard and the Rattler, Mr. Riley, and all the gentlemen who have been a part of this special process on the highest of Seven Hills, just talk about the journey for you and what it's like to actually live your dream as the coach of the FAMU Rattlers football team.
Well, I've said it many times before. Every day I get to walk in that field house, look up at the banner, and see my name mentioned with those gentlemen you alluded to. Jake Gaither, William Bell, Rudy Hubbard, Ken Riley, Joe Taylor, Billy Joe, and even guys like Earl Holmes. I mean, it's just truly a humbling experience to be able to walk the same halls, to sit in the same offices as those gentlemen. They meant so much to this program. They meant so much to the Southside community. They meant so much to this state, and so again, just the impact that they had on the young men that they were able to coach, what those guys did, later in life, it definitely pushes me every day to be the very best because, again, I stand on broad shoulders, and those guys are larger than life figures. And, I just hate that they're not all here to see what we've been able to do with this program. I know Coach Hubbard's very supportive. Coach Joe is very supportive. Unfortunately, Coach Riley passed away, just recently. And of course, Coach Gaither, some years back. But just to be able to impart or to gain wisdom from those gentlemen. The rise I've had, the talks that I've had with Coach Hubbard have been phenomenal. Just for him to pour into me, the talks I've had with Billy Joe. Again, it's an amazing feeling to be able to talk to those gentlemen and know that they're happy for what we're doing within this program.
Coach, HBCU football is in a great place. It's moving forward, and people are really, really passionate about it. And it's been around since the 1800s. But just talk a little bit about HBCU football. And obviously, you guys had a great showing up in Chapel Hill.
Well, we're honored to be able to carry on that legacy. These schools have done so much for people of color, for over 150 years in some cases. And so, we just want to carry that legacy today, through the game of football, because, again, these guys get a chance to live out their dreams. They get a chance to be college students and college graduates. Many of our guys are first generation, college students. And so, what the opportunity provides for them for their long-term success is something that we can never take for granted. And so again, just so thankful to be a part of this tremendous legacy. FAMU is a leader in that legacy, but there are many other great institutions across the board, over 100 HBCUs that have been providing those opportunities for primarily people of color in this country. And again, they'll continue to thrive and do so. And I'm excited to be a part of this legacy.
Coach, in closing, is there any final comments you want to make to the Rattlers Nation as we move forward and we look forward to this great football game? This is going to be special.
Well, yeah, we think so. Obviously, we're still excited about the direction of this program and this university. Obviously, we've all had to roll our sleeves up the last few days and take our lumps, publicly with some of the things that have been said. But that word family is real around here. We're about unity, so there is no strife between the athletic program, the football team, and the university administration. All right, we had healthy dialogue over the last week, ever since last Friday, to address some of the areas that plague our players, and that we want to make sure that we rectify, because again, they're the product, and we're all here to serve them. And so, whenever a student or a student athlete has something that affects them and their ability to succeed here academically, it's incumbent upon us to all put our collective heads together and do the right things. And that's what our administration is committed to doing. I'm excited about the direction that we're headed in, like I said, and I'm thankful that we have a leadership team led by our president who sees the need to address these students. And the meeting they had yesterday was a start, starting in the right direction. And we're looking forward to more dialogue as we continue to move forward. But right now, we get to go and enjoy some football on Sunday. And as we all know, wins typically make everyone feel better. So we need to go out there and get a win and get that feel-good feeling back and bring Rattler Nation together, because I know there's a lot of trash talk on the line in this weekend's game.
Well, folks, there you have it from Coach Willie Simmons. He is the head football coach of the FAMU Rattlers. The big game this weekend versus Jackson State down in South Florida. I'm James Hill. You're watching James Hill Sports, and we will be right back.